After 2 road losses by a combined 51 points, Les Robinson's pack was reeling. But a funny thing happened Sunday against Florida State. The Wolfpack regained its shooting touch. Tonight, Brian Feggins and company hope to keep it going against Grant Hill and the Duke Blue Devils. ACC action from Tobacco Road as number 5 Duke meets NC State next from Reynolds Coliseum.
Raycom and Jefferson Pilot Sports present the best in college basketball, the Atlantic Coast Conference. Today's game is brought to you by U.S. Air, Nations Bank, Discus Athletic, MCI, Food Lion, Ford Mustang, Bud Light, and by the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company.
Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh, North Carolina. These two old rivals, the number 5 Duke Blue Devils, going head-to-head against the Wolfpack of NC State. A very pleasant good evening, everybody. Welcome to ACC basketball. I'm Bob Rathman along with Bucky Waters. And for Duke, a victory tonight means they tie Virginia at the top of the ACC standings. And Bucky, as far as the keys are concerned for this game tonight, and for Duke, it's to get the big fella, Cherokee Parks, going early and often.
When he's involved early, as he was at Michigan, Duke can be just that. He can be awesome, and he takes the team with him. Rebounding has been a concern. This is the biggest Duke team ever, but they haven't always been able to get that ball off the board and run with it. In fact, this year, they have more turnovers than assists, mostly because they can't get it out clean. That'll be a factor tonight.
Things changed for the Wolfpack. Shooting percentage was up 50%. They beat Florida State, and mainly because of better shot selection. But I talked with Les Robinson earlier today, and I said, Les, as the confidence grew, so did the better shots and the better shot selection. He said there was no doubt about that.
Well, I don't think there's any question about that. And, you know, we've been playing relatively good basketball versus UCLA, versus Oregon State for portions of the North Carolina game. But the key ingredient there has been shooting, and shooting has a lot to do with confidence. I know the opponent's defense has a lot to do with it, but we've missed some good, solid shots. And this past Sunday, we ran our offense very effectively, and the shots were dropping, and that does so much for your confidence in many other areas. And if that be the case tonight, I think it'll help our entire game.
Easier said than done against the Devils.
Well, it's a tough defense, but, you know, he's had plenty of shooters all year. But Sunday against Florida State, he had makers, and he's going to need those makers tonight.
We'll see how it turns out. It's Duke and NC State. And when we come back, we'll meet the starting lineups for tonight's ACC matchup from Reynolds Coliseum. 3-1 in ACC play. The Wolfpack 1-2. Here's the Duke starting lineup tonight. Familiar faces with Lang, Hill, Parks, Cable, and Collins in the backcourt. Bucky, we talked about Cherokee's game, but Antonio Lang a big key too after scoring 23 against Georgia Tech. Only 14 points the last 3 games.
Well, I think there's a bit of an injury problem there, but he's about through that. And again, Duke has to look to that front court. Lang has been a tower of strength, especially on the defensive end.
The Wolfpack will start Marcus Wilson, Brian Feggins, and Todd Fuller up front with Mark Davis and Lakista McCullough in the backcourt. Feggins a key man.
Yes, he is. He started the year 12 for 36, but he's now come back. He's 21 of his last 36, and that's indicative of the pulse of this Wolfpack team.
So Brian and the Wolfpack set to take on the Blue Devils here at Reynolds Coliseum. Back with the tip-off in just a moment. We'll be back after this word from our good friends at Bud Light. Duke and State about to tip off. The head coach of the Blue Devils is Mike Krzyzewski. And interesting, Bucky, 15-15 all-time against NC State, and he's had to win the last 6 in this series just to get even.
Well, people talk about the problems that Les Robinson has had. They forget this man struggled at the beginning of his career, as did Dean Smith. It takes time.
Todd Fuller, Cherokee Parks to tip it. Dick Paparo tossing, and Duke wins the opening tip. Underway from Reynolds Coliseum. Feggins draws Lang. Collins up top, guarded by Davis. Inside it goes. Here's Lang. Back out to Parks. Shoots over the smaller man in Feggins and scores. Well, they went right to your key man tonight, Cherokee Parks.
Duke is a different team when he's involved, and he's one of those players that doesn't always come with that built-in intensity. You've got to get him involved.
NC State shot 50% here Sunday afternoon and beating Florida State.
Much different defense tonight.
Just going to say, you're not going to see the press and full court defensive game from Duke as you did Florida State. You'll see it in this half court where Duke just gets belly to belly and plays that tough D. Shot clock is already down to 6, and Hill with the steal. Grant Hill leads his ball club now with 21 thefts, but the cable pass away from Lang.
Well, I thought that was catchable. He put it on the outside hand away from the defense. I think Antonio tripped coming across there and took his eye off the ball. That was a pretty good pass.
The 195th meeting between these two old rivals. Duke and NC State from Reynolds. Wolfpack looking to tie. This is Wilson. Fuller.
Boy, the way he went up on that one looks like he's over any injury.
Collins for 3. And Feggins controls for the Wolfpack. Ryan Feggins getting back to basketball shape, Bucky, after 2 years of inactivity. And a big game here Sunday against the Seminoles.
NC State very patient. You know, they were quick shooting against Florida State.
And that's a travel on Fuller inside. The Wolfpack turning it over for the second time.
Nice bounce pass inside, away from the defense. Cherokee recovers. The pump fake really doesn't draw Cherokee. He just bided his time and caused the shuffle. Fuller, not a great leaper, a real workhorse in there. Very smart player.
2-0 Duke. Parks, yes. Soft touch. Cherokee, the second best marksman in the league at 59.8% coming in. Right behind teammate Antonio Lang.
People talk about Duke's offensive rebounding or lack thereof. You have to remember they're shooting 52% from the floor. There are fewer rebounds, and that's not rocket science.
Here's Feggins. Ryan Feggins opens the scoring for the Wolfpack. 4-2. In his career, over 5 games, he's averaged nearly 10 a game against the Blue Devils. Cable inside, Lang off his leg out of bounds. Good reach in by Wilson and Feggins.
Les Robinson up, doing a little cheerleading, and well, he might. If this guy comes back, had a horrendous start this year, Bob, but has really come on strong, as we just pointed out.
5 for 6 from the floor Sunday against Florida State with 6 rebounds. NC State can tie with a bucket. Slow pace. And the Wolfpack very patient against the Duke D. Lakeisha McCullough, and it rolls in.
Boy, he did that right under the nose of Cherokee Parks.
Both teams grinding it out in the first 4 minutes. Hill, Grant's first bucket. Didn't shoot well at Virginia Saturday, 2 for 10. But Coach K said he played a great game because of his outstanding defense.
When he defends a forward, he can really help all over the floor. We saw him a week ago when they put him on Travis Best, and it tends to take Grant Hill out of the game wide open.
Oh, and Davis missed it, but he got fouled by Parks. How did Mark Davis get so wide open in the middle of that Duke defense?
What's the line? He was so alone. They looked like a hitchhiker with pets. He was lonesome. Look at this, wide open. Duke just didn't communicate defensively.
Maybe that's why he missed the lay-in, Buck.
Yeah,
he couldn't believe he didn't have anybody around him.
Normally you get around the rim against the Mike Krzyzewski team, and you get a bump or two.
Davis has been outstanding at the line this year, 80%, averaging 5.4 per game. The junior from Utica, Mississippi. And this one ties the game at 6. We've got a timeout on the floor. Very interesting first 4 minutes here at Reynolds. State and Duke even at 6. MCI proved positive here, and we'll take a look at Mr. Lakeista McCullough.
Quick. Very tough to go all the way from the sideline and lay it up. That's a no-no against any defense, especially the disciplined defense of the Blue Devils.
Proof positive, you stick with it and get some things done when that opening occurs. The pace of this game, Bucky, you think is lending itself in State's favor.
I do, yeah. I thought their confidence, although it was terrific in practice yesterday, and they had that glint in their eye tonight before the game, they haven't had a good year. The confidence was fragile. Staying in this game, not getting blown away early, they're going to get tougher and tougher. I think Duke has to be thinking about extending the defense, doing something so that they don't let the pack hang around and get delusions of grandeur.
Capel up and off, but Lang on the back, and we've got a foul on Antonio Lang. Fuller had that one corralled. Lang tried to go over the top.
The Duke foul is on number 21, Antonio Lang.
First foul on Lang.
And the second.
NC State has a chance to take its first lead of the game here as Mr. Curtis Marshall brings it up. 5-second violation. Third State turnover.
Well, all you got to do is bounce it, and there's no count, and Les Robinson is reminding him of that fact.
The only time this season that you've got to worry about the 5-second is with a held ball. As long as you dribble, Buck, as you mentioned.
That's amazing.
We didn't think we'd see one. Here's Hill from the outside. A two-pointer for Grant. Oh, now Dick Paparo is saying 3. So it is 9-6.
But if I'm NC State, I'm liking Grant Hill out there taking threes and not slashing down the lane and creating for Lang and Parks.
Interesting point, Buck. Grant just 1 for 9 from three-point range in ACC competition this year.
He's going to have to prove it to a lot of teams. They know what happens when he puts it on the floor and attacks the basket.
Wilson. Here's Fuller, good position inside, and he scores. Bought off Collins and Parks for the offensive rebound.
Well, based on Sunday's game, Wilson has missed his quota. He was 8 for 9. He's missed 1. So we'll see if the form holds up.
Quick pass inside to Lang. Great ball movement for Duke. Lang's first bucket.
Grant Hill didn't catch a pass out. He just merely deflected it. Great hands for a big fella.
State trailing by 3. Fegan's a leaner. Capel the rebound, and Fegan's on his back. Grant knew that he missed that shot. Started to go to the board strong, but had a man in his way.
Fegan's pointing to his head, saying, come on, big fella, think.
French State tuned at halftime for the Volkswagen ACC Women's Report. Speaking of women's basketball, good to see our great friend Kay Yao, the State women's coach, on hand here before the ball game.
Great looking stroke. Oh. He needs a little time. He needs a little time, but he can drill it.
That was the one that they thought perhaps it headed to, but clearly Grant behind the line. Antonio Lang. He's got 4, and Duke now leads at 13-8.
Well, I wasn't any doubt. Dick Paparo was right on it, and it was right in front of Les Robinson.
Marty Clark and Greg Newton in the ball game now for the Blue Devils. Mark Lewis will check in when time allows for State. Foul inside, and Newton, physical with Fuller, picks up his first.
Newton getting more playing time. Just a little over anxious. Boy, does Fuller get great position in there. A wide body and knows how to use it. That compensates for the fact that he really doesn't possess the great quickness, the great leaping ability, but fundamentally he's very sound.
Mark Lewis in. Ryan Fegans to the bench. Fuller had a great high school tutor, former Carolina standout Bobby Jones down at Christian Academy in Charlotte.
Well, Fuller's improved each year too, Bob. The only thing he hasn't improved on is his quality point average. It's been a perfect 4 since he got here.
Out of bounds. Oh, or travel first. Lang couldn't hang on. 13-8 Blue Devils here with 13:26 to play in the first half.
Yeah, very definitely, though. That pleased Mike Krzyzewski. He would like to get out of this half-court bind that he's in and get his team running a little bit. So that was an error of commission that he can live with.
Now another whistle inside, and this one's on Fuller as he worked against Newton. So Todd picks up his first. You mentioned his grade point average in computer science. That was your major too, wasn't it?
No, I majored in underwater fire prevention and needed tutors. Come on, let's don't get into my academic credentials.
Well, he was so outstanding, I thought you might want to just drop it. 13-10 to get the first half. 13-8. The visiting Blue Devils leading. Lang sets the screen, gets it back. Good recovery by Lewis. Now Duke has to look elsewhere. Newton spins in. Hill saves it.
Boy, NC State's fighting them for everything down in there.
Lang. Good again. Antonio Lang. Off to a quick start with 6.
Boy, it goes back to the adage, though. You play good defense, and your defensive responsibility doesn't end when the shot goes up. You got to get the possession. Otherwise, you give Duke a second and third chance.
Daniels. No basket. That's a charge. Daniels was the hero against Florida State Sunday and came back with an impressive drive to the bucket, but is whistled for the offensive foul.
Let's see. Let's look. Greg Newton, who is tempted sometime to go for the aggressive block, that time wisely just slid out there and took his beating.
Duke leading by 7. Marcus Wilson now head up on Grant Hill.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty close, though. Once that player leaves the floor, he's got to have a place to land, and he slid out there behind the screen.
Marty Clark for 2. Duke widens the lead to 9.
The tempo's picking up, and that's not good for State.
Daniels with Lang flying at him. Newton carried it out of bounds. Time out on the floor. 11:54 left in the first half. Duke 17, NC State 8. We'll be back after a word from our good friends at Bud Light.
Clark, the 6'6" senior who's averaging 16 a game over the last 3 games. Watch his pick now. Antonio Lang just kind of hangs around. Wasn't a very formidable pick. Kind of collapsible, but it was good enough. Clark just needed a split second to get it off.
Marty Clark has been outstanding here lately, Bucky. 3 straight games he scored 16 off the bench.
He's got great experience, and he's really not trying to make too many big plays now. He's much more controlled.
Lewis missed it. Fuller rejected by Newton and count the basket. Well, Todd Fuller now with 4, and NC State breaks a dry spell, trailing by 7. Duke has been red hot from the field, hitting 8 of its first 11 shots for 73%.
They're really shutting State down with their defense as well. Excellent half-court defense.
Newton spins, shoots, misses. Marshall. Here's Daniels. Off Newton's hand last. State ball. 25 seconds on the shot clock. Antonio Lang coming back in. And Greg Newton headed to the Blue Devil bench.
We'll see more of him. I just see Newton getting more and more playing time. He's extraordinary talent, but as we've seen in just a few minutes, you know, he can get you in a lot of trouble, but he's active. He needs minutes to calm down and use that great talent.
Mark Lewis. He had 13 against Florida State on Sunday.
He's the only senior on this team as you look to the future.
Antonio Lang. And it goes to Parks. Nice catch, and he lays it in. Some weak side help from Marshall, but to no avail.
I don't think Cherokee even knew he was there. 5'11", he just ran right under him. But had he put that ball on the floor, Marshall would have had it, which is a good lesson for all big men. Don't bring it down for the little people.
Marshall is open. Got it. Curtis for three. He is fourth in Wolfpack history in career three-pointers. That's number 105.
Nice little comeback here by the Wolfpack.
Hill misses. And State's running with Ricky Daniels. Daniels up and no good. But there's Marshall high off the glass. And all of a sudden the Wolfpack within two.
All momentum is wearing red. Daniels missed that 10-foot jumper badly and ended up as a State field goal.
Grant Hill silences the crowd. He's got 7 in the first half.
Les Robinson wants to make the exchange here.
And Les is helping Stan Root inbound the basketball, but he is really exercised, and now Dick Paparo has to come over to calm him down.
Well, he was begging for a tech. He was not only out of the coaching back, he was on the floor. Timmy Higgins also gives him a, I got it, calm down. Les Robinson in that red sweater, there was no change in the color all the way to the top of his head.
State trailing by 4. Marshall. And that one is kicked. And that will give State a new 35. The shot clock is down to around 11 seconds. So State gets a break on that kick.
One of the reasons that Duke is undefeated on the road is that just excellent half-court man-to-man defense.
Well, here's a throwback to the old days, just to come across the lane, hooked by Fuller. Didn't get it to go, however, and Duke.
Clyde Lavella, George Mikan, all those guys.
Clark with the runner, tipped by Parks. The Chief with 8. 23-17.
NC State just not helping each other enough offensively. They're not breaking down with the dribble. They need some screens.
Whistle, hand check inside, says Dick Paparo.
Marshall's capable of breaking you down with the dribble, as he did that time. But there just doesn't seem to be much going for State in terms of their offensive scheme right now. Credit to Duke defense and pressure on the ball. There goes Marshall, under control.
Fegan's back in along with this man, number 20, Jeremy Hyatt. Marshall got free of Collins and misses the 3. Tip kept alive by Fegans. Now Grant Hill has it. And up ahead of the pack is Collins. Down the lane to Hill. That's a charge. Boy, Hyatt got back quickly and absorbed the punishment. That's like taking a charge in a freight train.
Hyatt just gets in the game and he looks up and here comes the cover boy, the All-American. He had a face full of 33, I'll tell you that. But he didn't duck. He didn't have time to duck. Watch this. Oh,
ouch.
Looking for a license number, that's all. Smart play by Hyatt. Les Robinson was playing a lot of players early in the year. He is still contesting a play on the baseline with Tim Higgins. He better concentrate on his team right now. They're down 6 with 8 to go, and it's very important that they not let Duke get away, that they hang close to the half.
Sometimes noisy, sometimes pensive crowd here at Reynolds tonight as Lang lays it in. You get the feeling the Wolfpack faithful came to the building tonight hoping for the best but fearing the worst. 25-17.
You look back at teams like Davidson and Campbell who have won it here. Even the crowd has fragile confidence.
7:41 left first half. Duke leading by 8. And we'll be back after this word from our good friends at Bud Light. 25 and NC State 17. And Greensboro senior Mark Lewis celebrated a birthday yesterday, turned 22. And he was serenaded before the game by the cheerleaders here. Duke basketball.
I just want to say hi to my tennis partner, who is also my life partner, my bride Dottie, recovering from hip surgery over at Duke Medical Center. Hang in there, babe. I'll be out soon.
One of the world's finest people, Dottie Waters, no question.
State foul is on number 52.
He has carried me on and off the court.
All coaches' wives go directly to heaven, don't they?
They should, non-stop. And I tell you, Dottie, I fed our watchdog Doberman pinchers. I fed them all just a little bit, though, so they'd be watching the house while you're there and I'm here. That was for all those lurking outside who might be looking for an edge.
Lang with his 11th point, and now it's 28-17. NC State, Buck has turned it over 8 times. Duke's converted that into 11 points. That's awfully difficult against this defense.
I think Les Robinson might try a little full court pressure if they can get some scores. Just something to change up here. They're just getting beat up half court, and they're not able to break Duke down on the dribble.
Shot clock at 6. Marks took it out of bounds. That will not be a reset, so just 5 seconds for the Wolfpack. Toward the conclusion of our telecast, we'll be announcing the players of the game, brought to you by Nations Bank. McCullough gets it in, and it's knocked away by Hill. Up ahead to Collins. And, oh my. It was a 3-on-1. Fagan's got back, but Collins... Let's watch it again.
Just a little too cute here. He had a step and a half. That's not like him. Normally he throws his body at the basket. I really don't know what threw his mind. He is not afraid of contact. But that was not a wise play.
Good reach around by Wilson.
Yeah, but that's the 3rd time in this first half Lang has really not come to meet the pass. He's got to give NC State some credit.
Grant Hill with the block, goes up top and jams it. Boy, you talk about the whole package.
What's he got? 3 threes and then they down the chimney.
Wilson, air ball, but Daniels has it. And a foul on Parks. Number 2 on Cherokee. ACC action coming up on Saturday. These Devils return home to take on the Seminoles of Florida State. Hosted that first ACC win last night over Clemson. That's at 1 o'clock. And then the second half of the twin bill at 3:30. It will be the Maryland Terrapins playing host to the Wolfpack of NC State. Eric Meek checks in for Duke. As Ricky Daniels goes to the line. 6'6" junior putting in his first point. I mean, it was just a bolt of lightning. Daniels on Sunday scoring 20 against the Seminoles, hitting 8 out of 9 from the floor. His previous high in the game was 9.
Eddie Biedenbach and Les Robinson yesterday in practice, though, were saying, you know, he had been just a little bit away from that. That was not entirely out of the blue. He'd been coming as junior college players do. You know, they think too much. They're trying to learn everything. And he really broke out. And they were, of course, hoping that that would start a pattern. But as we pointed out earlier, this is a different defense. Much different.
30-19. State trailing. Davis back in for the Wolfpack. Capel's runner is good. Good extension on that jump shot to the baseball.
He is the point guard, or as lead guard, or whatever you want to call the guy who's going to take care of the basketball. Krzyzewski kind of pulls his neck and says, we don't have those positions on this team. But he had one for 4 years, and it was named well, the Hurley point.
Shot clock at 10 as McCullough handles it outside.
See, this is not all by design. They're struggling.
Wilson, and fouled by Meek. Eric with his first.
Tries to go in your face over Eric Meek. Blue Devils a little unhappy with all of this handling of the ball. Tried a little run and jump to hurry him.
Marcus Wilson from Monroe High School. 65% are at the line this year. His first miss in ACC action at the stripe.
As we know, State has struggled this year in their shooting. I'm looking at these rims. They're supposed to be bright orange. They're all worn off. They're silver rims. Now, if they were good shooters, the paint would still be on there. But they've been clanging it. And I'm these rims are close to being illegal. They need to put some paint on those suckers.
32-20. The Blue Devil lead is 12. 5:20 left in the first half. Marty Clark on Daniels, who's right back in the lineup for the Pack. Wilson knocks it away.
Again, Lang doesn't come to meet the pass. You can't let that thing get close to your numbers. You got to go reach for it. I thought that was a Fuquay Marina.
A good catch by Davis.
They're just kind of milling around offensively. There's nothing going.
They're at a size mismatch just about every spot on the floor with the 10 that are out there.
Well, size mismatches aren't as critical as speed mismatches.
Shot clock at 2. Davis gets it off and hits it.
Nothing but the rim, the rim, the rim, the rim, and then the net.
32-22. Up by 10.
Basket by number 4, Mark Davis.
Lang. His 13th first half point. He is 6 of 6 from the field.
Boy,
So when he gets the ball, he does some good things with it.
I was just going to say, and he let 3 or 4 good opportunities go away because they stepped in front.
And Hill knocks it out of bounds.
Considerable debate. Cornell Parker, Grant Hill, Derek Phelps, who's the best defensive player? I know this league has a few of them. I like Hill because of his ability to play a center, a forward, or a guard. And size is just incredible.
Any one of those 3 can get you talking to yourself.
Yep.
Marshall out to Daniels behind the line. 34-23.
Boy, a little spurt right here would do wonders for this Wolfpack team. Got to remember now, Duke has not lost on the road. Some great road wins.
At Michigan, at Iowa, at Virginia.
This crowd's just waiting to get behind this club and help them. Those who want to build a new building here ought to take a shot of it tonight. When they talked about the crowds in here, it's full.
Parks has 10, and Duke continues to keep NC State at arm's length. 3:32 left in the half. Back after this word from our good friends at Bud Light.
Not to interfere with the ball.
Athletic Community Outreach Award winner Curtis Schultz from the University of Maryland. Curtis, a member of Team Maryland, a group of 25 varsity athletes that share their personal experiences with the young people in the community. Curtis also spending time as a volunteer at area boys and girls clubs and as a tutor for local middle schools. Congratulations to this week's Discus Athletic Community Outreach Award winner Curtis Schultz from the University of Maryland. The team that will play host to the Wolfpack Saturday at College Park. 3:20 left in the first half. Bob Rath put Bucky Waters at Reynolds, 36-25. Duke in control. State having a tough time against the Blue Devil defense. Daniels inside and a loose ball. Grant Hill last a touch. I mentioned the University of Maryland, Buck. They've had the school's been shut down this week because of the ice and cold, but everybody's in school. Now, you as a basketball coach, you'd have some tips for your team to keep them focused and not doing any extracurricular activities on campus?
I'd have some tips. I doubt that they would be followed. I mean, when I used to have bed checks as a coach.
Grant's hurt. Boy, he got twisted up. Looks to be okay. He came out of there wincing.
Grant covering the rebound. Ooh, just cut. Mark Davis just came across the back of his calf or knee. Doesn't appear to be serious.
Apel down to one knee, saves it to Clark. Marty into the lane, and a travel on Marty Clark. 7 Duke turnovers. Lang returns, and it's going to be Parks to go out. 2:35 left in the half.
Just let me conclude that point. As a coach, I learned early if you have bed checks, the problem is the beds will be there. Probably won't be anybody in them, so I'm not sure what purpose it serves.
Talking to Billy Hahn, the Maryland assistant scouting tonight before the game, he says, "Oh brother, what a week we've been."
They'll be in rare form on Saturday for the Wolfpack.
Here's Clark. Marty, a hot hand in the first half, and he keeps it going.
3-point basket
his 6th three-pointer of the season. Duke with its biggest lead, 14. Daniels, the runner. Nope. Wilson controlling. Why not? Couldn't find anybody to pass it to. Daniels follows it in.
Les Robinson electing not to go down the floor against Duke and try to create some transition.
A block by Wilson, but a foul by Wilson. Marcus with his first foul.
State may be holding back anything like that, not to show it at this point, but they're just not doing well half court.
Halftime, we've got scores, the women's report, highlights and stats. Duke looking to go 4-1 and tie Virginia for first in the league standings. Marty Clark at the line. Outstanding foul shooter. 13 of 14 at the line in ACC play. I don't know why I say these things. Jinx these kids.
Coaches are
like automatic.
The coaches are really upset with it, I'll tell you that. Boy, I remember his free throws in the Final Four. Duke doesn't win without him coming off that bench cold and delivering.
Six points for Marty. 40-27.
You think about that senior class at Grant Hill, Tony Lang and Marty Clark, been a part of 2 national championships, 101 and 18. That's 85% over their career. That's absolutely amazing.
Davis bounce inside, and we've got a kick on Duke and a reset of the shot clock. The announcers for this game selected and compensated by Raycom and Jefferson Pilot Sports, and the use of this broadcast without their express permission is prohibited. Mike Krzyzewski's Blue Devils harassed the Virginia Cavaliers into 37% shooting on Saturday, and they're doing the same thing today to the Wolfpack. Jeff Capel, his second bucket of the half, and Duke leads by 15. Top to Wilson. Nice feed from Marshall.
One of the few times Duke did not have good pressure on the ball, and he had time to size that one up and put it right on the money. Excellent pass.
Time remaining in the half, you see. The shot clock at 26 and will now be extinguished as the Wolfpack gets it back.
Lang 6 for 6. Parks 5 for 5. Going down inside has sure been good for the Blue Devils.
Duke looking for its 3rd straight victory in Reynolds Coliseum.
The confidence shot here is 42-29, but that's only 13 points. Duke going to 1-3-1, half court. I got to believe they want to get that ball off the top and may do some trapping. There it is.
Daniels inside. Lewis rejected by Hill. Duke's got time. Capel beats the buzzer. Count the basket. So instead of the Wolfpack getting a chance to cut it down with a 3-10, instead it's Duke scoring and a 15-point deficit for Les Robinson. Halftime here at Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh with our halftime score. The Blue Devils 44, the Wolfpack 29.
Today's ACC action is brought to you by Pizza Hut, Ford Mustang, Food Lion, and by the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company.
The Devils unbeaten on the road and leading NC State 44-29 here at halftime. This week's Nationwide Insurance ACC Scholar Athlete is Eric Montross from the University of North Carolina. Eric, the 7-foot senior from Indianapolis, Indiana, had a 3.2 grade point average as a speech communication major at Carolina. Our congratulations to Nationwide Scholar Athlete Eric Montross. At the break, it's the Blue Devils 44, the Wolfpack 29. We will continue with more from Reynolds right after these words. leading NC State 44-29, and our Budweiser scoreboard for what's going on elsewhere. And our matchups across the country tonight include a game at Tulane in the Metro with number 13 Louisville leading, a Big 5 matchup in the first half at LaSalle, and UMass leading Rutgers. You know a little bit about Big 5 basketball, Mr. Waters?
Yeah, I hung around that neighborhood, but decided to come down here and play for Coach Case at North Carolina State. But they do get after each other in the city of brotherly love.
Halftime here in Raleigh. And ACC basketball on the Raycom and Jefferson Pilot Sports Network will continue after these messages from your local ACC station. Welcome back to Reynolds, everybody. Bob Rathman, Bucky Waters. When you take a look, Buck, at these US Air halftime statistics, you'll note the shooting percentage astronomical for Duke, hard-earned 41% for NC State, and it really revolves around easy baskets. State didn't get that many easy opportunities like this one to Marcus Wilson.
One of the few times that Curtis Marshall had a little room to breathe, and that's the only field goal for Marcus Wilson. A great offensive hope today for the Pack that has been just covered by the smothering defense. Grant Hill here, last play of the half, snuffs Lewis. The Blue Devils are off and running. Chris Collins in the middle. Capel, the finisher. He went 3 for 4 in the first half, did the freshman from Fayetteville. And instead of State getting that bucket to give them a lift, the Blue Devils ran it down their throat.
Second half coming up right after these words from our good friends at Bud Light.
And Jefferson Pilot Sports exclusive coverage of ACC basketball is brought to you by Discus Athletic, Budweiser, Central Fidelity Bank, and by Nationwide Insurance.
Bob Rathman, Bucky Waters at Reynolds with Duke leading 44-29. Point distribution always a big key, Bucky. And when you look at Duke shooting 77%, you know they're getting some great opportunities from close to the basket.
We made the point right up front that Duke needed to go down inside, establish Cherokee Parks, and they did. Parks and Antonio Lang just had a field day in there against the smaller and thinner Wolfpack. It was really a marvelously engineered and executed half-court offense.
Meanwhile, for the Wolfpack, things have not come easy against that Duke defense. If you're Les Robinson, how can you change it? Because that last play of the half was a real emotional dagger to the heart.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to take a few chances. He's got to look up there and say, what the heck? We're down 15 to the nation's number 5 team. We're playing at home. The crowd has not been in it in this half-court thing. We're going to go after it, maybe do a little pressure. What a half. That doesn't tell the story. We talked about 2 for 10 at Charlottesville in the Big Duke win against Virginia. He has had a sensational half. He's 4 for 5 from the floor, 4 boards, 5 steals, 3 assists, and 2 rejects. 1 to key that last fast break.
McCullers for 3. Good 3 for the Pack. Coming out of that locker room to start the second half, cuts it to 12.
Only his second shot of the game. First 4 or 5 minutes here, really key for State. Try to just get back in there. They can't do it with 3 threes in a row. It's got to be a 20-minute romance to get back in this game. Duke is not going to buckle with a couple of long shots.
Collins runs it right back to 15 with his 26th three-pointer of the season. Vegas inside for the jam. Well, the Wolfpack lucky Bucky to get away with that pass inside, but once Fegans got it, he knew what to do with it.
Well, we talked about that 24-10 advantage in the paint for Duke. Don't think that was not mentioned more than once in the NC State locker room at the half.
Lang. Parks up and nope. It's out of bounds to Duke. Fegans and Fuller really working hard inside.
Well, there's some emotion in this NC State team. You didn't think they'd come out here in full. Nice little entry pass. One of the few that escaped Hill, who had 5 steals in the first half.
Jeff Capel floats it in. Boy, Duke is just on fire from the floor.
Well, they're getting a great look at the basket. The NC State defense really hasn't taken them out of anything.
Blocked by Parks. The Chief with his 20th block of the season. Collins loads up. Bang!
What was was interesting there is that Jeff Capel is the leading three-point shooter for Duke at 49%, and he easily just shoveled that ball over to Collins. If I was shooting 49 from 3, I think I might have jacked it up there, even though Collins was as open.
Collins whistled for his second
Blue
foul.
Devils foul is on number 20, Chris Collins. That is his second of the first team foul this half.
17:53 left. An 18-point Duke lead.
Collins could have trouble with McCullough if he can get an open floor. There's a lot more quickness there from McCullough's standpoint.
Batista way short on the 3, but Davis is there. Goes to the left side to put it in.
A very deceptive pass that time by McCullough. Very deceptive.
And a foul underneath. It will be on the Wolfpack. Stay tuned for the Nations Bank Players of the Game Award. Nations Bank will contribute $1,000 to the ACC Postgraduate Scholarship Program. Since 1971, contributions to this program have helped fund postgraduate educational opportunities for over 50 deserving student athletes. Grant Hill, the trigger. Blue Devils 11-1. Back at Cameron on Saturday afternoon to host Florida State. On the cut, Capel dumps it low to Lang, finger rolls it in, counted and a foul. Nicely done by the Blue Devils.
Jeff Capel with extraordinary body control, and he's strong. At 6'5", you penetrated. I'm sure Krzyzewski's going to say you could have made that play with your feet on the floor. You didn't have to leave the floor. Nevertheless, nicely done.
15 for Lang, his first second-half basket. He was at 6 out of 7 from the field tonight, improving on that 64-4 that you see that leads the ACC. Biggest Duke advantage. Wilson. 5 points for Marcus.
Straight basket by number 25, Marcus Wilson.
Daniels, Wilson, Davis, they gotta get cooking here. And it doesn't have to be from 3.
Second on Marcus. Changes for the Wolfpack as rookie Daniels and Curtis Marshall come in. It was in the second half Sunday against Florida State that the state bench really started to come into play, and they got a great lift from Daniels.
When you look over Duke's year and the fact that only one team shot 50% against their defense, you see how much difficulty NC State is having against this defense. You realize how amazing and what a job Wake Forest did to come into Cameron and do that. Childress, exceptional guard play. Not just a shot.
Well, it's funny the twists and turns an ACC season will take. You watched Virginia Saturday struggle mightily against Duke, and then last night, I mean, they're banking in 3-pointers against North Carolina.
That's why we love it.
Daniels in and out. Wilson battles Parks. The Chief wins that one, and Duke is running, but Collins can't control.
If Les Robinson would like to do something different and change the tempo, he really needs some dead ball situations. He needs some scoring so that he can come up with some half-court traps. Right now, the Devils are just kind of slowly walking away from him in this very standard game.
Fuller, no room to work, and he lost it out of bounds. He just put up a brick wall that time.
Todd Fuller has a pilot's license, but as he looked,
no landing room.
That's right. There was not only no land, there was no field. The Big Chief had it all blocked.
the other end. Park shoots over Fuller and hits. Boy, Duke is really clicking on all cylinders offensively.
It's like they haven't broken a sweat.
Well, you see what Duke has done on the front line in this game. I mean, between them, Lang, Hill, and Parks have only missed, I think, one shot.
Nice pass. There's 15 minutes to go. They've got to get this crowd in it. They've got to have. They got to take some chances.
Fagan's a rebound. Veteran ACC observers know that this is perhaps the noisiest building of them all when it's rolling. Look at this hot potato. Collins comes up with it, and that is going to be a foul on State. And with the playing being made on the man in front, Collins, I was wondering if Tim Higgins might call intentional. Marshall with his first foul.
Nice pass that time. Curtis Marshall to Fagan's underneath. There just have been too few of those. Marshall really didn't quite catch up. That was a pretty light nudge. I didn't think that was. I think Collins was just going very fast and was out of control. Chris Collins isn't very fast, but you know, it doesn't seem to bother him. He plays so doggone hard that his liabilities somehow get covered up in effort.
Coming off a 12-point game at Virginia Saturday, Collins has 7 tonight. He had 14 here last year. Made the All-ACC freshman team a year ago. And it is good. Both Collins has 8 and Duke has a 21-point advantage. 14:45 left at Reynolds, with Duke leading comfortably by 21. Now for the Pizza Hut delivery of the game.
A little piece of that one. The Chief Outlets. Chris Collins just lays it up there. All the toppings you wanted on that one. Grant Hill not only 1 for 1 from three-point line, he plays above the rim.
Plays like that helping Duke to a 74% shooting night here in Raleigh. 61-40, Duke leading. Hyatt. Clark, he'll take it. Miss it. Follow the rebound. Hyatt on baseline, but it's a travel and Grant Hill goes down. Pops up, takes it off. Earlier this year, Duke had 11 steals at Clemson. They've got 7 tonight, 5 by Grant Hill.
Jeremy Hyatt, the 6'6" freshman from Jacksonville, Florida, trying to come down and pick up Grant Hill. That's quite an assignment for the freshman.
Collins, good again. 10 points for Chris, all in the second half. Around, following Todd Fuller. Second on Greg.
The Duke foul is on number 55.
Hey, look at the Wolfpack play, Bucky, and trying to desperately get back in this game against Coach K and friends, but that defense has just been suffocating.
That's about as good a term as what's called the kudzu defense. They take away your inside game, they take away your outside game, they take away your transition game, they cover everything.
Another Wolfpack turnover, number 15.
The Wolfpack now extending the defense, trying to change the mix here.
But Duke, when they've had the turnovers, they've took advantage.
And this has not been a Duke team that has run as well as some in their early era. They've had a little more difficulty getting that ball off the board. As you pointed out early, they have had more turnovers than assists. So the transition game has not always been that good to them.
And we've got a hand check on Collins. Yeah, interesting, Bucky, when you look at the season numbers of 12 games, Duke has 179 assists and 191 turnovers.
Well, their errors of commission, you better believe that's something that man's working on.
Fuller, up strong. Rebound tipped, put into the hands of McCullough. Marshall is open, but only briefly. Daniels driving. Oh, hello.
One of the better offensive sequences for the Pack. They had good movement that time and did make a good entry. It's been difficult.
Into the hands of McCullough. Wolfpack trying to whittle it down with a three. Here's Grant Hill. 4 on 3. Clark left wing, up and in off the window. There's a transition basket for you.
They're really flexing their muscles tonight. NC State was ready to play. They're obviously a different skill and experience level here. William Neal Reynolds Coliseum hadn't been able to turn this one around yet. The stronger team is definitely enforcing. Watch this little look away. Oh, sweet Georgia Brown. Marty Clark has been referred to by the state student body here as Opie. And he answered him, and they haven't mentioned that too much since.
Grant Hill, you saw that great pass a moment ago on the replay. 5 assists for Hill tonight, in addition to everything else. Hill, the leaner. Lewis the board. 11.5 to play. Duke 68, State 42. Here's a steal by Marty Clark. Up ahead to Mr. Hill. Third team for Grant. Les Robinson's going to stop the clock here. Duke runs off to its biggest lead of the night and State with a timeout with 11:17 to play. We'll continue with more of our coverage from Raleigh after this word from our good friends at Budweiser. MCI proved positive, instant replay. Mr. Hill's done it all tonight, Buck.
That's 3 on none. Just a picnic for the guys in the blue shirts at the other end. Look at Collins on the bench, number 20. That his enthusiasm. You think with a big lead and the fact that he's not on the floor. No, sir. The man's got big-time batteries.
Oh, there's a great block by Marty Clark. Capel up ahead, and he will lay it in. Capel now with double figures for the 5th time this year, 10 points. And Duke continues its outstanding shooting, over 75% now. Lewis for a tough 2 and a foul.
The defense now is creating much of that. In the first half, it was simply a half-court execution, being able to pass or dribble the ball to the paint. Now the Blue Devils are just they just changed in the phone booth somewhere.
Wolfpack shooting 2.
Mark Lewis to the line for the Wolfpack. He had missed until Sunday 13 straight free throws, but cashed in against the Seminoles and hits this one off the back of the rim.
Serious shooting slump, this young man, the only senior. Took a Christian missions trip to Russia this summer. He must feel right at home over here with this cold weather we've been having in Raleigh.
Lewis 0 for 2, but there inside is Daniel.
State basket number 32, Ricky Daniel.
72-44. Capel busy night of basketball in the Capel household tonight. His dad's team, NC-A&T, playing in North Carolina Central this evening. Here's Parks missing. And that is going to be an offensive foul on the Chief. His 4th foul.
That'll bring on Eric Meek, but Mike Krzyzewski can live with that foul. An assertive Cherokee Parks you can live with. Good shot. David Thompson in the black suit there, kind of hiding. He got a tremendous reception from the Duke students here. Oh.
The 20-year anniversary of the '74 national championship team that Mr. Thompson was the centerpiece of.
I had the unfortunate opportunity to be in the other color jersey when he was at his best, and he was as impressive, as dominating as Michael Jordan. In fact, much more so in college than Michael.
Foul is on number 55, Greg.
Here's a look at the championship banner and the man who helped hang it. Here at Reynolds, David Thompson. I remember, Bucky, the Eastern Regional game where Thompson took the spill here at Reynolds Coliseum, and they had just passed the ordinance that you no longer could smoke inside the arena, and Thompson went down. A hush falls over the crowd, and about 15,000 people go for the cigarettes. I mean, it was an eerie moment here in Raleigh.
It was really one of the devastating falls.
And then comes back, head bandaged, to sit on the bench. State wins, goes to the Final Four in Greensboro, and that championship was the end result.
I don't think they left the state that year.
They did not. They did not.
Not good for the travel agent, but coaches love it.
Well, you wonder if the heavyweights of the ACC, Duke and North Carolina, have those thoughts with the Final Four in Charlotte this year. They'll have to go outside for a regional, but boy, to play in Charlotte.
A hustle play for the Pack.
And they've got a 3-on-1. Nice shovel to Lewis. Clark denies.
Marty Clark just walked over to Mark Lewis and said, yeah, I know we got this big lead, but you just can't do that, and nothing personal.
Lewis will shoot 2 for State. Number 10, Jason Sutton.
Marty Clark playing all 3 of them. Make sure that there's no layup and a chance for a 3-point play.
Mark Lewis back to the line. NC State as a club shooting 68% at the line. Averaging just about 68 points per contest. Lewis putting in his 3rd point, 72-46. And Grant Hill is fouled. He'll shoot a pair. McCullough and Figgins in on the defensive action for the Wolfpack. It's going to be called on Daniels. And Grant Hill to the line as Collins returns for Duke. Marty Clark will go out. Here's Hill. We've talked about his great weaponry in terms of his total game. 4th on the Duke list in career blocks, 7th in career steals. Hill with 14 tonight. The all-time Duke assist leader, Bobby Hurley. The all-time steals leader on the bench, Tommy Amaker, one of the Duke assistants. 73-46. Lewis inside, Figgins. And we've got a foul. I believe it's on Eric Mick.
In attacking the Duke defense, you really have to have good spacing. The State has not had that tonight. There was just no room to operate. Good shot there of Tommy Amaker, and to his right, been with Krzyzewski a long time.
It's a great staff. Mike Bray rounding out the Duke coaching force.
Every year, as the coaching merry-go-round takes another spin, conversation turns to Gaudette, and Amaker, and Bray, and Where will they be next year? So far, they've hung right in there with the Blue Devils.
Figgins has scored 8 for the Pack, 73-48. Well, the road teams, Bucky and ACC play, have done okay this year. They will be 9-11 after this one. Duke, as you mentioned earlier, perfect on the road this season, in conference and out. That's a travel online. And that's interesting. All 3 home teams won last night in ACC play. Last year, the home team in conference play won only 57% of the time.
What does that say? Parity, defense, officiating that doesn't fold to the home court. I don't know. It says a lot of things. Makes for a terrific interest. There are no givens.
73-50. Duke leading, 8.5 to play. It again. Buries this one. 17, his second 3. Duke by 26. And the push. Here's a look at those ACC standings, and it's a interesting mix with the heavies. Duke and North Carolina not in first place. And you see the Maryland Terrapins and Wake Forest at 3-1. Duke will next take on Florida State, and that will be at Cameron on Saturday afternoon. Then Notre Dame invades before a matchup with the Terps on that February 3rd date at North Carolina.
We'll see Maryland Saturday with this Wolfpack team. NC State coming off a Thursday night at home with Duke, and then taking the road to College Park. That's a tough 72 hours.
Here's the Wolfpack schedule after Maryland, then Georgia Tech invades. That's back on the road to Clemson and Wake before the Tar Heels come here.
Unless you have walked that path, and as a coach or a player, it's just it's like a waterfall. They just keep coming.
With the foul. Remember a couple of years ago, Jeff Jones, maybe his first or second year, and they came down and played Duke, NC State, or Wake Forest, and North Carolina, all in the space of about 4 or 5 days. Yeah. It's never easy on Tobacco Road.
And he aged a great deal. Virginia and Wake, of course, with victories last season at Cameron.
Lewis struggling at the line. Bucky Waters fan club here at Reynolds tonight.
That guy's not had all his shots, I don't think. There's something going around here that he wasn't covered. He's got it.
70-56. Well, you think back at the days of this rivalry as number 10 Jason Sutton is in the game now for the Wolfpack guard. It has never been easy for Duke over here at Reynolds. They've had their share of victories, to be sure, but you think back to the days when Mike was getting his program going and Jim Valvano had it rolling over here. Boy, when Duke came in, it was a tough night. Here's Capel rolling it in.
Well, Krzyzewski's career against the Pack at 15-15 coming into this game indicates how tough it's been.
Poke away and into the hands of Collins. Daniels trailing on the play. Collins can't get it to go. And Sutton saves it. Over to McCullough.
Plays tonight. Chris Collins not really strong at the end of that break. Kind of a careless cavalier pass in the first half, and just kind of shoveled that one up. He's a tougher kid than that. He's just got to take it right to the rim.
Capel. Boy, you could just see in this young freshman from Fayetteville, Bucky, all the talent is there. All he needs is the refinement that experience will give him. There's a 3 for Jason Sutton. That's his first bucket in ACC competition.
Duke staff has basically made the decision that they're going to go with him as that lead guard and live with some mistakes and let him grow. Superb athlete who also happens to be a pretty smart basketball player. Another coach's son that seems to have the good instincts.
Well, they've got some bloodlines on this team. Capel, Collins, Hill.
Like a gene bank, yeah.
5:48 to play, and 80-55 is the Duke lead over NC State. We've got a timeout on the floor here in Raleigh. We'll continue with more of our coverage of ACC basketball from Reynolds after this. Along with Bucky Waters, Bob Rathman back in Raleigh. 80-55 Duke leading. Here at venerable old Reynolds Coliseum, December 1949, the first game was played here, and State beat Washington and Lee. Who made the first basket?
I know that. I know that.
I know you know that.
I know that. Vic Bubas. But
after
it
two
was
misses.
a commitment, yeah. He shot it and shot it and shot it until he put it in, but he's very proud of that record. Vic's retired now down in Tampa, Florida. He'd be very proud of this new team, and especially the way they're playing at the defensive end.
Timeout Duke. Jeff Capel calling for the timeout. And we've got 5:41 to play. 80-55 at Duke leading. We'll be back after word from our good friends at Budweiser. 55 Duke on top. And the Blue Devils with it. Duke is shooting 70.2% tonight. Oh, look at Moore, but that won't count. That's going to be basket interference against Tony. But boy, was he up in the air.
Good screen. Grant Hill gets a lot of iron. Tony Moore
playing above the rim, just kind of shoved that one down through.
We mentioned the Duke field goal percentage, 70.2. Just in case you were wondering, the ACC record for the highest field goal percentage in a game is held by Maryland, 83%. And that was set in January of '71 against South Carolina. The Terps that night hit 15 of 18.
Well, that sounds like a Villanova Georgetown in the finals.
Right. And a travel on Davis. 5:06 to play. Wolfpack trailing by 25. The 195th game in this series. Boy, what a roller coaster it's been for the Wolfpack, losing by big margins at North Carolina and at Virginia, then running out to a 22-point lead against Florida State here Sunday before holding off the Seminoles to win by 8. Now tonight, Duke comes in and just played almost a perfect game. When you look at their shooting percentage and what they've been able to do at the defensive end, it just doesn't get much better than this.
Yeah, they caught a packed team that was really raring to play. Eric Meek making a strong move to the basket. Eric's a hard worker and an intelligent player in there. He's had difficulty finishing lots of times down in there after they get the ball to him. I think that's one reason Greg Newton is getting a little more time.
Meek, though, has had some outstanding moments for Duke this season. Had a great game against Xavier with 9 rebounds and 7 points at the start of the game at Michigan. Had a couple of blocks and 7 rebounds in 24 minutes.
Oh, he's a player. Duke is very deep, and that depth is going to come forth as the season comes on.
Grant Hill.
They're going to miss Blakely, though. The speed that he gave them, the good defense against the Travis Best of the league, he will be missed, but this is a Duke team that is deep.
Bacon. Hill carried it. Got that ball hung on his hip that time.
It just couldn't get in his holster. It just wouldn't fit, so he passed it. It's hard to believe he's 6'8", and he gets to flying down the floor with the ball. It's like he has a string on it.
And just about his 6th steal of the night. Wow. That's a charge.
Just everywhere they go, it's an adventure to make a horizontal pass. It's an adventure to go to the basket. Duke defense has just been overpowering tonight.
Number 3, Marty Clark into the Duke lineup for Collins. And Joey Beard, number 42, enters the Duke lineup. Number 32, Ricky Daniels.
Daniels returns.
Replacing Marshall.
And Grant Hill is out. Here's Louisville leading Tulane in the second half. Temple up by a dozen at the half in Philadelphia. And we've got a whistle and a foul called on Capel for a charge. As you look at some of the scores from action tonight, Bucky, it's just amazing to see what has happened. The top 5, top 10 is just a jumble.
The Bolsheviks, and it's going to keep doing that. You look back to last year, the national champions, North Carolina, they lost some games and lost them big about this time of the year. Didn't win the ACC tournament, but when it came to the right time to be ready, they were there. So all of these teams will move in and out of phases. When they got it going good, then it's not going good. The question is to be there in March and in April.
New personal high for Jeff Capel tonight. 16 points after that slam. Duke by 30. And it's Daniels from the corner.
State basket by number 32, Ricky Daniels.
The big fellow, Joey Beard, puts it in. Joey's first basket in the ACC. And another foul on Duke. This time it's on Meek. His third.
The Duke foul is on number 52.
They'll be well rested. I'm sure that Pat Kennedy was hoping that maybe Duke could be drained a little bit over here in anticipation for his visit Saturday, but they'll be well rested.
34, Carmen Wallace comes in to take Mr. Capel's spot. .234 to play.
Todd Fuller shooting 2 for State.
Todd Fuller to the line. You notice, Bucky, just 4 points for Fuller tonight. Duke did a marvelous job against this Wolfpack workhorse. He was named to the all-tournament team at the Great Alaska Shootout.
A double-double against UCLA.
Yes, he did. And he's found they're going tough inside the net against the Dukies.
Well, this would be a good tape for Mike Krzyzewski to use it the next time he speaks on defense. Good zoo defense. I kind of like that. Covers everything.
Clark banks it in.
Got that with his wristband.
6 Blue Devils in double figures. Sutton. Here's Fuller.
Injuries have a lot to do with that as teams fade in and fade out and have their little streaks. Donald Williams for North Carolina.
I was going to mention that.
That's huge. If they can survive the confidence factor without him, they'll obviously be better when he comes back, but it can be painful in the process.
Here's Wilson coming back for the Wolfpack.
Following up on that point I made earlier about Carolina last year in their national championship year, they lost their Wake by 26 and at Duke by 14. That was in January, early February. Then they come back the end of the year. They avenge both by 18 and 14 and come roaring down the stretch to win it all.
Coming up on Saturday, more ACC action. We begin at Cameron Indoor Stadium with the Florida State Duke matchup. And then game 2, the Wolfpack at College Park to take on the Maryland Terrapins at 3:30. Check your local listings. Bucky, you'll be up at College Park, a chance to see those great Maryland Terrapin young people led by Joe Smith and Keith Booth.
Gary Williams has him going.
Oh, that's a three-pointer for Wallace, and he got fouled.
Gary Williams finally getting the kinds of players and athletes to play this kind of basketball. And I think the second time around the league, it might be a little tougher, but they're sure enjoying it now. Everything going right for the Blue Devils. They needed a 4-point play tonight.
Carmen Wallace, 6'6" freshman from Wilmington, Delaware. 92-61. Duke's high water mark in points this year, 97 against South Carolina State. Minute 3 to play.
Bill Kretzer in the game now for NC State. Greensboro, 6'8". That was a good one. Played with Coach Eddie Biedenbach on some of the state's fine teams in the 60s.
Tony Moore can't handle it.
Just about the time you think the crowd's asleep, you see how quick they can still move. This team has to bounce back. Boy, they got to go. That Maryland field, Cole Fieldhouse now is rocking. It's like the old days. It will be very tough on this club.
And that will be basket interference on Duke County. So Kretzer gets the basket. He mentioned the emotions for State and how they came into this game tonight. Is it tough, Bucky, when you such little confidence to build on? You get the win over Florida State, you run slam into a great Duke team. In less than 48 hours, he's got to try to pump them back up again.
Indeed, it's a tough challenge. I mean, Duke is Duke, but they could get it again like this if they don't really reach down and pull up their socks and get ready at College Park. Maryland is a team with its speed that can really embarrass you.
Double dribble.
No quit in this State team. They're just totally outmatched.
Just a few seconds left. 92-63. The Blue Devils with their third straight win in Raleigh. And they'll go to 12-1 on the season, 4-1 at the ACC level. And a foul on Stan Brunson, number 31. The forward on the soccer team was walked down here the last couple of years. Getting some action here for Coach K in the last minute. Ricky Daniels to the foul line.
Daniels shooting 2 for State.
Very impressive, rather methodical win for Duke tonight. They did have a lot of shots for the highlight reel, but the nuts and bolts of the game was done at the defensive end.
These fans here, Bob, are terrific at State, and they came tonight just wishing and hoping, but Duke showed why they're so highly ranked.
Swatted out of bounds by Sutton with a half a second left.
See, that's a kind of a blizzard to this crowd. Here we are, a half a second, and you get that kind of effort. This team's going to bounce back and bite some people.
And the game is over. The final score in Raleigh tonight, Duke 92 and the Wolfpack of NC State 65. We'll have our post-game comments coming right up.
The action has been brought to you by USA, Nations Bank, MCI, Lincoln Mercury, Schick Tracer, and by Nationwide Insurance.
Our final score here at Reynolds Coliseum tonight, Duke 92, NC State 65. The Blue Devils now 12-1 overall and 4-1 in ACC play with the Seminoles coming up on Saturday at Cameron. Our Nations Bank players of the game, Grant Hill, who did just about everything tonight, leading the way with 19 points and 6 boards. Ricky Daniels, our player of the game for NC State. And speaking of Mr. Hill, he's standing by with Bucky Waters.
Thank you, Bob. Grant, everybody's going to talk about the score and the offensive efficiency. I thought your defense tonight was the key.
Well, I think so, too. We tried to come out today and play good defense, build on like our performance against Virginia. And, you know, myself, Antonio, Lang, really everybody tried to go out there and play hard on defense, and the guys off the bench did a great job. And you know, that type of performance is going to win a lot of games for us.
I kidded, called it the kudzu defense because it covered the outside game, the inside game, and you took away the fast break. What's the key? I know you are more valuable, at least you are more versatile when you're defending a forward. When you guarded a Travis Best, it tended to take you away from important things defensively.
Well, guarding Travis Best is very difficult. First of all, it makes you real tired. You know, guarding a forward like a Fagans or a small forward like a Wilson, it gets you close to the basket. You're in the paint more, so you can help off and get steals. You can help on the rebounding. I wasn't doing a good job of rebounding, so that was one of my focuses, to try to get some more rebounds and just help my other teammates on defense.
The younger players coming along. Thanks. Congratulations, player of the game. Coach Krzyzewski, you had a major project to get that ball inside tonight and get Cherokee involved, and it was obvious you did.
Yeah, we can't shoot very much better than we did in that first half, but I thought the key to that was how well we played on the defensive end, and the guy you just talked to was, I've never seen anybody cover the whole floor like that, and he's done that the last 2 games. So we played hard, and we knew we'd have to against NC State tonight.
Greg Newton came up in the rotation a little bit. He's getting more minutes.
Yeah, we're looking because Bucky, he plays with a little bit of fire, and the guys like him. That doesn't mean Eric's not playing well. I thought Eric had one of his better games today, but we want to get Newt into the mix a little bit, and I think he'll just keep growing and growing as a result of it.
Pleased with your depth.
We need more. We need more. Tonight everyone played well, yep. But that's not the way it's been all season long, and we haven't had many games like this where kids can play extended minutes.
You might not ever want to go back to Cameron to where you're playing on the road.
We're playing much better on the road than in Cameron.
Congratulations. Bob Rathburn, back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bucky. Congratulations, Coach K, as Duke wins it 92-65. Again, our final tonight from Raleigh. Duke shoots a season-high 68% to win this game by 37. Our action Saturday, we'll see Coach K and the Devils as they take on the Seminoles of Florida State. And then the second half of the Twin Bill from College Park at Cole Fieldhouse, Johnny Rhodes and the Maryland Terrapins taking on the Wolfpack of NC State. A couple of footnotes to the Duke win here today. This is the largest Duke victory margin in Raleigh since 1940. As they win it by 37 today, they won in 40 by 30 points. So the Blue Devils now 4-1, tied with Virginia for first in the ACC. You've been watching exclusive coverage of ACC basketball on the Raycom and Jefferson Pilot Sports Network. For Bucky Waters, this is Bob Rathman, bidding you a very pleasant good evening from Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh. We'll see everybody this weekend. So long for now.
To beat NC State 92-65. News Channel 11's Tony Debo has more in the game and a look ahead to this weekend.
Let's begin by looking back, and all NC State could do was watch in amazement as Duke owned them in every way possible. 77% first-half shooting with 7 guys finishing in double figures. Strong defense led to transition. Sure good to see Grant Hill above the rim for only his 6th and 7th slams of the year. He was the man with 19 points, 7 assists, 6 boards, 5 steals, and a couple of blocks in the 92-65 win.
We had a little advantage inside, but I think our perimeter players, Chris and Jeff, really had their best game to date.
I think the big guys for our team, we really didn't do a good job overall, and Duke did a really good job of exploiting it.
For all, remember but move on as the ACC slate brings Florida State to Cameron.
And we have to put this win behind us right now and get ready for them and apply the same principles we do on the road, so at home.
As for NC State, you can see it coming together, but now they go to Maryland at a date against the league's young guns.
We can't stop them, but we hope to contain them, and I think if we can do that and handle their full-court traps, then I think we'll be okay.
Tell you what, Duke never gave NC State a chance, did they? Oh, did Duke come out smoking last night at Reynolds? 5th-ranked Duke telling the pack, we don't care if you're playing at home. No way. You're going to beat us. Duke 92-65. Devils say a fast start was the key for them.
We knew if the crowd got involved and if we let them hang around, they would get some type of confidence and they would come out there and it would have been a real tough